We're joined now by the victorious Ballynanty manager David Dunphy in the aftermath of a 4-1 victory over Fairview Rangers. Dave, I suppose it's fair to say it was a super performance from your team.
Yeah, I'm delighted with the performance. We didn't perform at all Sunday, and we stole a draw from Nina, who were worth a victory really. So to choose in training, and today we were talking about performance. So with performance comes results, and we got a very good result today.
Yeah, it's for your voice is a bit hoarse after all the action, I suppose. But I suppose looking after that Nina game, Dave, you also had drama Crew Park as well. You had lost to Pike. I suppose in some ways the pressure was building, because if you lose the game tonight against Fairview, you go 10 points behind in the race. You're now clawing back in a bit more. You do seem to have maybe a team where they always manage to get themselves up for those big encounters against the likes of your Fairviews and your Pikes, and it was no different tonight.
Yeah, in fairness, I can always rely on that group of lads there for the big game. Sometimes we struggle against opposition that we're maybe expected to beat, and that's I'm not talking about even this season. I'm talking about previous seasons. So, as I say, I never have to worry about or lose sleep coming into the big games, because those boys always give me a performance. It's the lesser or more the results we're meant to get out of teams that we struggle sometimes, and it's something we have to work on, especially if we're talking about progressing and going on to win trophies. You have to be taking your points. So what we're doing is we're beating and getting results off bigger teams, and then letting ourselves down maybe on days we should be taking maximum results, and maximum points.
Absolutely, and I know that it was a very tenacious performance, and you were aggressive in your press and the intensity to it. I suppose in the past, Dave, I know you were on teams as well where you maybe criticised for maybe being over aggressive. Have you looked at your team and said we need to be a lot more controlled and controlled aggression? It seemed to be that way tonight.
You have to have everything. You're going in playing against probably, if not the best, one of the best teams in the country. If you don't have a press and a controlled press and an aggressive press and composure when you have the ball and create chances and defend well, then you don't get results. So tonight was about a complete performance, with and without the ball. And look, we were lucky enough to get it. The boys were outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to speak on your goals as well. Brilliant goal, first goal as well, Adrian Power, brilliant cross, Eddie Burns attacking the back post, really good goal. But in particular, your dominance came at set piece time. Your other 3 goals came from there, one as a second ball off a set piece. But Josh Adams scored 2 really good headers, and he had a very good game tonight for your centre back.
Yeah, I suppose going on the first one, Adrian to Eddie, that reaped a lot of rewards for us last year. I think they scored 35 goals between them last season. So as good as the goal was, I suppose it wasn't much new to what we tried to do and what we have done in the past. As regards to the set plays, Josh has definitely brought a different dimension to us with regards to the corners and free kicks, but the corners especially. Tonight, look, he was so aggressive. Look, he couldn't be dealt with, and thankfully for us, he just got 2 good goals. Got us well on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that James Fitzgerald has come in since I was last talking to you as well, Dave. I suppose what kind of impact has he had? Tonight he put in some very good crosses for your team as well, and worked really hard.
I'll be honest with you, a lot of people have had a big impact since they've come into the club. The 2 Fitzes have come in and done very well, and they're characters. Sometimes people might think, this might be tough to handle, that might be tough to handle, but they're sitting in there as if like 2 lads that have been at this club for the last 10 years. The boys are mad about them, they're mad about us. We're getting the most out of them, and in fairness, they've given us good performances, but they're not the only ones. As I say, we've had a lot of players that have come in. Gabidedo Habedin has been outstanding. Josh Adams, Boris Power, Conor Keane, Aaron, Rian O'Connell, they've all come in and contributed to us so far. And look, we've a lot of good players and we're very lucky. So yeah, but as I said, the 2 boys contributed, yes, but 1 and 2 of many of lads that have done that for us.
Obviously there was a lot of talk, Dave, about, you brought in a lot of players, but there was big talk about 2 players that you lost. They both played for Fairview tonight, Jake Dillon and Conor Ellis. Does it make it extra sweet when you win games like that?
No, to be honest. 2 very, very good players. Doesn't matter to me once they're not playing for Ballynanty. I'm not worried about it. It brought not an extra to the game for me tonight, to be honest. I'm just happy with the win.
A very huge vocal support as well, Dave. It's not just maybe cheering the goals. It was kind of a cheering of every tackle, every 50-50. There was a real, not just a tenacious attitude from the team, but your sideline, your support as well.
Well, I always say we're a massive club, and we are a massive club, and we've massive support. Okay, we may not have the facilities yet to call our own, but obviously we're working on that behind the scenes and off the field. But we're a huge club. I always say to our boys, give them something to cheer, and they'll cheer you, and they'll drag you on and push you on from minute 1 to minute 90. And look, all we done tonight was keep the crowd involved, and they never let you down if you do.
Absolutely. And on a final note as well, that was your first time back on the pitch at LIT. Happy to be back there?
Delighted, never wanted to be off it. Just timing was, obviously we don't have control all the time over what happens in this facility. The pitch was sanded on the 18th or 17th or 18th of August, and it was meant to be 10 days off of it, but it never rained. So the fact it never rained, the sand never washed into it. 4 weeks down the track, we still hadn't had rain. And then funny enough, it comes and there's probably too much of it, which kind of nearly affected it today. But look, we got there. We always want to play in that pitch. I reckon it's up there, the best in the town. There's no problems. We always want to be out there, and we're delighted to be back on it, yeah.
I did say on a final note, but there was one more thing I wanted to ask you. You obviously have the busy weeks continue. I believe you have Crew Park coming up soon in the FAI. It's something that I discussed with Ed and Ryan on the podcast. Do you believe that maybe with the top 6 in the Premier, you know, like for instance, now you're going to lose one of the bigger hopes maybe in Limerick in terms of the outer town stage in the FAI. Do you think that there's a cause for maybe bringing in the top 6 in Limerick at a later stage in the likes of the FAIs and the Munster Juniors?
First of all, we have to play Knockeny on Sunday, which is the single most important thing in my mind at the moment in the Munster Junior Cup. After that, we'll think about Crew Park. But yes, I firmly do. I know people say, what about the romance of the cup? I think there's other cups there for that. The last, and in particular, where the smaller teams or small fry get to take a bite off the big fish. But I do believe that the top 4 or 5 in last year's Premier League should go out of town automatically next year. That's been a thought of mine all the time. Ballynanty haven't always been in the top 5, so we wouldn't have got out of town. But I do believe 1 to 5 should be automatically out of town, the FAI. And as the other cups are there for